I spent my childhood in the countryside, somewhere in the west-east part of China. My home was in a beautiful town, surrounded by crops. Though people there were poor and life wasn't easy, I loved the place because they were my family and all the people that I cared. However, the education in town was too bad. Every night, before I went to sleep, my mom told me that how much she wanted me to get a better education and get out from the poor life we used to live in the countryside. Mom and Dad worked so hard and finally saved enough money to afford our lives in city. Dad bought us the train ticket to Beijing, and finally our family arrived in the big city. The circumstances changed utterly for me. Nothing was the same like the life I used to live in, nor did I have any friend or people that I trust. I was too sad to be positive and embrace the new life, but I was at the same time too afraid to tell my parents about this. They worked so hard in order to let me stay in the city and get the better education. For my entire junior school, middle school, and high school, I couldn't find anything entertaining in the big city. Reading books was the only thing I found interesting in my life at that time. I set my goals early enough and worked fairly hard to let myself be way ahead than most of my classmates. I knew it was the only way to repay my parents, that I can get in a good university and get a nice looking degree. I put inside as much effort as I could after I entered one of the high schools where most of the students could get in the best universities in China. And finally, my score turned out to be high enough to enter one of the best 2 universities in China. But things didn't turn out as how I wanted to be. My dream was turned down. My hukou wasn't able to be transferred to the city I moved in, and there wasn't enough positions for me to get in the university. So depressed, and so were my parents. It wasn't anyone's fault or anything that I could blame on. There was nothing I could do to change the reality at that stage of my life. And it was probably the first time when I realized that life isn't always how I want it to be. It is just what it is.